It is Thursday, May 29th. It is time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is SP3. SP3. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let him in. Let him in, SP3.
He's already was in Club Superstar if you watched yesterday's In the Weeds. But congratulations, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Welcome to the VIP room. The Oklahoma City Thunder are going to the NBA Finals. As predicted first on FMC by both of us. Both of us did predict the Thunder in the finals. One of us predicted Thunder as the NBA champions, and we're 4 wins away from me being right and Jeremy being happy for about a couple of hours before he goes back to misery. But congratulations to your Oklahoma City Thunder. I've been I will proudly wear the moniker that some people have been calling me as Thunder Glazer, because I've been on the Thunder bandwagon and been glazing them for what has been, Jeremy? I think it's been like 3 years. Wasn't it 2 years ago that I was like, oh, they're going to be in the play-in, and they made it to the play-in. Then it was 2 years ago where I was like, yeah, they're going to be in the playoffs this year. They're going to be a top 5 seed. I did not foresee them being number 1 last year. And then this year, this is when I was like, all right, it's full speed ahead. The NBA championship. I understood the process. I understood how this is the greatest rebuild in modern sports, not even NBA, modern sports history, the greatest rebuild of all time. And they're just 4 wins away from completing it. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, we're going to move LeBron's old ass out the way. Steph Curry can worry about going to the hospital within Club Superstar. Jokic can go to the financial department and work on building a team and finding a new head coach. Giannis Antetokounmpo can worry about what state he wants his Club Superstar to be in and what jersey he's going to wear next year. You got the VIP section all to yourself. Our league MVP, leading scorer in the league, and Western Conference champion, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Welcome to the VIP section of Club Superstar. Anthony Edwards, we're gonna have to check your ID again. We're gonna have to check your ID, and we might have to excuse you. We don't like a lot of your press conference quotes, so we might have to excuse you, sir.
Zach, I won't pull up your chat on the screen, but you're in the chat. Yes, my DMs are open. I hope you had at the game last night. It seemed like it was a good game. I mean, it didn't seem like it was a good game. It was a good game. They got off to a great start, and they never let up on them. It was a very fun and easy game to watch. I was very appreciated. So Sammer, who I mention often on this show, who might actually have to be on this show if the Thunder somehow win the championship. We've had this bit going on for years. After every win, even in our down years, even when we were starting Mike Muscala and Alexander Sarr and Theo Maledon, like even when we were starting these guys, after every win, we just text each other, who we play in the finals. That was our text to each other. Every single victory. Didn't matter who we beat. Didn't matter who we played. That was our text. So last night, I call him after the game, and he just says, who we playing in the finals? I was like, who we fucking playing in the finals? I'm cursing 5 minutes in this show. I don't care.
Let's go! Let's go!
Who we playing in the fucking finals? Oh, we were so hype last night. I'm pretty sure I scared the kids. I was watching the game. The wife was on the couch, and I go out there. The kids are out there. I was just like, I got to go outside. Like, I go on our back deck and just walk around, burn off all the energy that I have. I was out there for like an hour and a half after the game. Cold, rainy, didn't care. Just hype after the game. But 4 more wins. Job's not done. 0-0 series. We'll see.
Now it really is a 0-0 series.
A week wait. I'm so agitated by this week-long wait. Hey, Zach, good on you, man. He says he's been a season ticket holder since 2016. Man, the fact that yesterday was the anniversary of Game 6 Clay, I didn't realize that until they said it because I tried to just block that out of my mind. Zach, you might remember this as well. There's this tweet that haunts me, and I'm pretty sure it was from Royce Young. It might have been from Anthony Slater, who Kevin Duranted the Warrior or the Thunder and left to go cover the Warriors. It was from one of them. It was in 2016. It was Game 6. And they take a picture before the game of the 2012 Western Conference Finals banner. And the caption was, Thunder have a chance to add to this banner tonight. And I remember this tweet for 9 years. 9 years this tweet has haunted me. I was talking about it with Sarah yesterday. I was like, this is such a dumb thing to remember. Like, what a dumb thing to remember this one tweet from 9 years ago. I can't remember. Everyone knows my memory sucks. This is the impact this tweet had on me. 9 years that I remember it. But now they will finally hang another banner next to the 2012 Western Conference Champions banner. And hopefully they will hang one more banner next to that. So it was a good night. It was a good game. It was a good series. We're going to probably play the Pacers. I hope the Knicks can at least win one more to extend it a little bit, mainly because like I just want to – it's nice watching basketball when like you know your team's in the finals. Like, these guys can play as many games as you want. Guys, we're good. We're chilling. And the fact that like it's a week-long wait, like we're legitimately going to go a whole week without basketball if the Pacers win tonight. So it'd be nice to get an extra game or two in there before – we get to the finals. So Vala B says super chat. We appreciate you. Vala, we're 5 minutes in. We're 7 minutes in. Actually, leave a thumbs up on the video. All that helps us out. Yes, I'm smiling. I'm in a good mood today. This will last a little bit because there's a week until the game, so I don't go pre-misery. I'll go pre-misery on Sunday. Sunday
Okay,
is
that's fair.
Yeah, I'll enjoy the weekend. I'll enjoy the weekend. Try to get the fireworks going here. Give a thumbs up on the video, maybe. I mean, do that. Not a maybe. Just do that. There we go.
There we go. The fireworks for OKC. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Be happy for Jeremy.
Leave a super chat. Like Vala B says, no fumble is what we call when Jeremy cusses in the stream in the first 10 minutes, but we get to see Jeremy smile for once. Yeah. Look, I'm in a good mood.
I'm vanilla, baby.
I'm in a good mood for once on this show. We'll see what next week brings, but for now, we're gonna enjoy this. SP3 did call it. He said we both had the Thunder in the finals. I refuse to pick my team. I refuse to think they're going to win the finals. I'm picking the Pacers. Pacers in 4. I refuse to think we're going to win. I can't talk myself into it, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
You remember at the beginning of the season, I said this would be the year that I would get it right. Because the 2 years before that, I just kept picking my team, which never worked out well for us. The year I don't pick it, we actually did well in the regular season, and then of course we choked in the first round. But I did my research, looked at the teams, looked at what other people were saying, what was the betting odds at, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with parity over the Celtics. And it's OKC's time. Next year, spoiler alert, I might not go with parity because I think that out of all the teams that have potentially won championships or have won championships, the Thunder is the best equipped to repeat. So 4 wins away. Let's see them get the job done so I can do my parade and be right, my be in right parade, while Jeremy has an actual parade for being a fan of the team. I'm just going to be a parade where I'm just glazing myself for being right, but we could both have a parade, 4 more wins to get the job done, but then we could talk about next season and moving forward where I think they are in a really good spot.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minnesota Timberwolves, Los Angeles Lakers, Minneapolis Lakers, Thunder in 5. Thunder in 5. SP3. Get Shannon Sharp the fuck out of here with his Lakers in 5. Bullshit.
To be fair, Shannon Sharp been the hell up out
he
here.
He did get the fuck out of here.
He's never even had to answer for his Lakers in 5 nonsense because he got the hell up out of here for other reasons. He's up out of here. As far as the NBA finals, we'll talk about that when this Knicks Pacers series is over. I'm hoping that Pacers can get the job done tonight, because if they don't, I'm a little bit. I will be probably a little bit worried.
The Pacers are the better team. They're the better team. If the Knicks win tonight, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but the only game the Pacers lost was a Karl Anthony Towns hero game in the fourth quarter. That's not something you can bank on. And look, the Pacers winning
he's
game
banged
1,
up right now.
Yeah, the Pacers winning game 1 was a hero game by Naismith and Halliburton, but the Pacers have proven over the course of the series that they're the better team. So, Davion, I hope you're good, man. I don't like to knock other teams and things like that. I just did the Shannon Sharp bit, but the Wolves have a very good future with Anthony Edwards. They got to get guys around him who can lift him and take some pressure off of him. Julius Randle played well for 2 series and then turned into the Julius Randle that we kind of expected Julius Randle to be. But that's also a credit to the Thunder defense. They're just amazing. Alex Caruso might be the greatest player of all time.
I watched Tim Legler basically break down I think it was the second series that y'all did on defense, and it's just immaculate how y'all have the coverage, y'all double on the screen and roll, and then you always have someone who rotates over. It was so well done. I think it was 3-3, and y'all did the closeout on the 3-point in the corner, and it was just how Tim Legler broke it down. I'm like, damn, this defense, it is something to be seen. It's one of the best defenses that I've seen, especially in the modern era. It's ridiculous how y'all are able to cover, and you have guys that can switch on everything and just can play different roles. Alex Caruso, former Laker great. Hey guys, no matter what, Laker greats is on top. Laker greats is on top. We were going to be on top regardless who won the Western Conference Finals.
Is there any Laker great? There any Laker greats on the I guess Josh Hart for the Knicks, but yeah, do you have anybody on the Pacers?
The Pacers, okay. Nah. There was a whole bunch of former Knicks on all these teams, so that's good part for them. But nah, the Pacers, there's no former Laker greats that I know of off the top of my head. I would have to look at their roster again. But yes, Laker greats though go win the championship. That's what it's all about. Yeah, this is one of the greatest defensive performances that we've seen. How many times have y'all just blown people out of the building? And no one loves to shoot an open 3-pointer up by 40, quite like Lou Dort. Lou Dort be having the biggest smile on his face when y'all up by 40 and he gets to shoot these open threes.
I was so happy for Lou Dort. Lou Dort has hit big shots throughout his career, honestly. Game 7, Lou Dort. But he hit the big shots in in the Denver series in game 5, I believe. Yeah, game 5, because he doesn't shoot well on the road, and game 4 was on the road. It was Queso. Queso was hitting the big shots in game 4. But I was so happy for Lou Dort because he doesn't get a ton of shots. And if he's not shooting threes, he's not great with the ball in his hands. He'll sometimes have to be forced into a contested mid-range that for some reason still goes in, because sure, but he doesn't get a ton of shots. And in the first half, even though we were up big, I'm not sure he took a ton of shots. But the job he does on Anthony Edwards and really everybody all series is like goes under the radar so much because those numbers don't show up in the box score. They show up in Anthony Edwards box score, but it's a lot of team defense, and Dort doesn't always get the reward for it or the praise for it. So when he like hits these threes, and like we were up, but I'm speaking for myself, it was never threat. They would make like these little like 7-0 runs. It's like, oh, okay, like can we get a hold of this a little bit? And then Dort would just hit a three. It's like, okay, cool. And like Dort threes just like give the crowd more juice as well. Like I was so happy when he was knocking down these threes because he did so well all series on Edwards, but especially in the first half, just they came out with a purpose last night. They're like, yeah, we can put this team away. We know we're better than this team. Let's cut it off immediately and end this game. And that's exactly what they did. They held them 9 points in the first quarter. 9 points. That's less than a point per minute in an NBA game. 9 points in the first quarter. Absurd defense. Like a great team, a special team, still 4 wins away. Still 4 wins.
And the scariest part, reason why I was talking about like in the future, the scariest part is that right now, I think the Thunder have the best Caucasian male in basketball in Chet Holmgren. And Chet Holmgren, this is probably the he's like he might be a top 5 until Cooper Flag comes here. Then Cooper Flag we'll skip over it, but he might be top 5 behind White Mamba, Austin Reeves. He might be top 5. But yeah, the scariest part is that Chet Holmgren, this is probably the worst he's gonna play for like the next 10 years. He's only gonna get better from here. This is like you're catching him. Y'all 4 wins away from a championship when Chet Holmgren has not even sniffed his prime. I said Caucasian, which means American male. Why y'all putting Jokic, Luka? Like those are European males. Caucasian male means American, guys. Just so we are quite aware of what I'm qualifying before I see anybody put any Europeans in there. Caucasian male is Chet Holmgren, and he's only gonna get better from here. He's 23 years old. He's only gonna get better. The only person that's really kind of like firmly we all know are in their prime is Shea. Like these guys can only get better from here. And then you got people like Cason Wallace who's just starting his career. You're gonna have so many players on your team that's gonna be here for a while that's gonna get better. So it's scary. It's scary.
Job's not done. Famous words of Laker great Kobe Bryant. It's not done yet. We still got 4 wins. 4 wins left. 4 game ones. It's a 0-0 series, and after every game, it's a 0-0 series. So we still got to win 4 game ones. Last night was fun though. For the most part, the playoffs have been fun. There were some definite moments in the Denver series that looked scary, but the team, credit to the team that they punched back, being down 1-0, the way they blew game 1, being down 2-1, facing game 4 on the road, and then having to win a game 7, even though it was at home. Like it's still a game 7 where just wacky things happen. Dude, they've played since the tip-off of game 7, outside of game 3, where they just weren't ready. They just got overmatched, whatever it was. Game 3 was just a bad performance. There's just no other way around that. They've played excellent basketball since the tip-off of game 7. Blowout in game 7, 2 blowouts in games 1 and 2. Game 4 against the Timberwolves was close, but they never relinquished the lead after the first quarter. Minnesota tied it, but they never took the lead after the first quarter. And then another blowout last night. Like at home, that's 4 straight blowout wins at home. 4 straight, including the game 7. It's a very good team. And we have home court in the finals. We just got to finish this. We really got to finish it. Like That's all we got to do. 4 wins. Four wins. I'll be a wreck starting on June 5th. Just an absolute wreck. So, dude, Zach, you mentioned you're a season ticket holder. The crowd is so good. They've been good for a long time, but I love the OKC crowd. I don't know how it always comes across on TV because I've seen a lot of people complain that they've turned down the crowd volume on TV, which is noticeable. But for someone who, watches all the regular season games and watches the local broadcast, like it definitely comes across, and you can tell how loud they are in the playoff games as well. Like the crowd was so good. I saw the tweet. They showed Chris Finch every time there was a foul called, which is amazing. That absolutely rules if that's what they did. Quit complaining about fouls, dude.
Yo, I'm gonna need this is a horrible state of NBA basketball discourse when like I called one of my friends out about him predicting Wolves in 6, and he was like, oh, I didn't know that the Wolves were gonna play this way. I didn't know that the refs were gonna call all these fouls and let OKC play defense the way they do, but Shea gets every call. And I'm just like, we blaming refs now? Really? We blaming refs now? Yeah, okay, sure. If that's your excuse for making a bad prediction, then so be it. Unless you are a Minnesota Timberwolves fan, you should have not predicted the Minnesota Timberwolves to win this series. Like, if you had watched the games, if you had watched the OKC Thunder, if you didn't overrate the fact that they were taking the 7 games with Nikola Jokic, the best player in the league, who cares about the coaching? The coach is Jokic. If y'all didn't do all of that, you would have known that this was what was going to happen. The Thunder were favored against anybody in the West. They should have been your prediction all the way to the finals. And there was only one team to meet in the finals where I would be like, yeah, I'm still going OKC, but I'll go OKC in 7. And that would have been the Boston Celtics if the Boston Celtics play like the Boston Celtics of 2024, which they didn't against the Knicks. So here we are, 4 wins away. 4 wins away. Jeremy's going to be happy for a day or two, and I will be happy until next season's predictions.
I'll be happy for more than a day or two because, you get the post victory and then you order all the merch. So I'll be excited like when the hat gets here, the shirt gets here, might get a hoodie or something. Who knows? But I'll get some other stuff as well. So I'll get excited on all of that. Yeah. The thing with the Wolves, it's not that I wasn't worried about them because I'm always worried about this stuff, but like deep down, if you put me under like truth serum with this stuff and you didn't get this version of me who was just pessimistic about everything, I was like, we beat Jokic. We beat the best player in the league. We beat the guy who can figure out every defense, every coverage, and is just a monster on offense. I'm not as concerned with Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. No knock on either of those guys. Edwards is going to be great. He's already very good, and he's only 23. He's going to get better. All this experience is going to go a long way in shaping him. Randle is who he is. Like, he's not really going to get better. He's the guy that he is. But when you've beaten Jokic, you're just not as concerned with a guy like Edwards and Randle because they are not super IQ offensive machines like Jokic is. That's why Halliburton is a little like worrisome. Like, okay, Halliburton reads defense as well, makes great passes, doesn't turn the ball over. Like he's a special offensive player, especially with his passing. But my optimism is the Pacers have seen the Bucks defense, which is trash, at Doc Rivers Bucks defense on top of that. The Cavs defense, which the Cavs were the second best team in the league, but it wasn't because of their defense. Their offense carried them all season. Yeah. And then
Evan Mobley, their interior defense is good with Evan Mobley.
Yeah. Yeah, but like their offense is what was their calling card all season. And the Knicks defense, which they've just picked on Brunson and Towns series, and credit to them. You should pick on Brunson and Towns. But those are the three defenses they've seen. They ain't seen this defense. They haven't seen a physical, just forceful defense that doesn't make a ton of mistakes and is going to be up on you and throw different things at you and play physical and throw different waves at you. I know people have mentioned like Caruso, Dort, Kaysen, Dub, like they could just throw, and then you have Chet and Hartenstein in the paint. Like they could just throw so many bodies at you. One thing that I was talking to with Sammer last night. I apologize to anybody who's tuning in for wrestling talk. Like, come on now.
Come on now.
Like,
come on now.
What are we doing? One thing we were talking about is like Caruso, he's great. He's fantastic. He made so many just hustle and winning plays last night. But Edwards beat him off the dribble a couple of times. And it was like, oh, I don't know if like Caruso can guard Edwards one-on-one. That's the matchup we want. The thing with like switching Caruso onto Edwards for a couple possessions is like, yeah, Ant might score a couple of possessions. But then you put Dort on him. It's like, oh, this is a completely different defender. Like you give Dort those couple of plays off, and then you throw Dort on him. It's like, oh, now I got to deal with this guy. It's like I'm already dealing with
Dort's taking him like full court press, basically.
Yeah,
in a lot of those possessions.
But the point is like just the fact that you can throw different guys and different guys who play differently as well. It's like, oh, I just took Caruso off the dribble. All right, well, you're not doing that against Dort. Oh, Caruso's very handsy on there, and Dort is just going to body you up. Like he might not reach in as much with his hands, but you try to drive, you're going to have to run into his chest and you're not going to be able to move him. Like the fact that they can just throw different style of defenders at you, it just keeps you off balance and keeps you guessing the entire time. There's like no weak links on the defense. So that's my optimism when it comes to the Pacers. Like, all right, you've been able to burn Brunson and Towns on these screens, and Bridges, McHale jail doesn't exist anymore. That got closed down, and OG Anunoby is doing what he can. But you haven't seen a defense like this all playoffs. And so, yeah, cautiously optimistic. Talk to me on Monday, and I'll be very pessimistic, and I'll tell you why the Pacers will win in 3 games. All right. We appreciate everybody hanging out through the basketball chat. The chat's popping with the basketball, man.
Yeah. The chat knows who we are. They're used to us being on Tuesdays doing this. Now they can get it on Thursdays a bit. You know, we mix it in. We used to be, FMC where we talked about this and Trash Reality and then play a Too Hot to Handle or Love is Blind mobile game. And now we do basketball talk and then into the wrestling. That's the difference between In the Weeds to FMC In the Weeds.
You'll get a little less basketball talk early in the week because we can only rehash so many talking points. On Tuesday, we'll probably have at least Thursday we'll do like a finals preview type of thing. But you'll get a little less basketball talk next week until the finals actually start. And then you'll get more basketball talk because we're here. My team is in the finals. The team SP3 predicted is in the finals, so we're both feeling good.
I'm here. I'm here all week. If you guys need tips on taking bets early in the season, next season, I'm here for you.
That's true. I mean, look, if you followed our advice these past 3 years, even if you just followed both of our advice, you would have won. Because this would be 4 years in a row. Because I predicted Warriors in 2022. You predicted Denver and then the 2021. Celtics. 2021.
No, 2022 was when the Warriors won.
Oh, 2022. Sorry, my brain thought you said 2020. Yeah, sorry.
No.
You're right.
2022. Warriors won, and then Denver and Boston you predicted, and then this season I predicted OKC. So this would be 4 years in a row where you guys just need to listen to myself and Jeremy I also, I know there's people like Chase Oliver who go on like Bet Online to bet on wrestling. I'm also here for wrestling because my prediction for Best of Super Juniors, which we'll talk about on today's show, was on point. My guy Stat King in the True Hill Heat chat went back to the beginning before the tournament started, and my message to him were when he asked me who's gonna win was I said probably Fujita or Akira from A, Ishimori or Yo from B. On point, on point. I'm so good at this. Predictions is my middle name.
I mean, you want to go ahead then and talk about that? It is Kosei Fujita against Yo in the finals. That was decided earlier this morning. I've not watched the B block final night yet, so I've not seen how it's gone down. Obviously, I know that Yo ends up in the finals, but you want to talk about the finals and who you think is going to walk away with Best of Super Juniors 32 crown?
It has to be Kosei Fujita. That was my pick at in the beginning of the tournament because it fits in with what New Japan's theme has been making new stars. They've been trying to make new stars since the beginning of last year when Yota Tsuji won the New Japan Cup. They made a star who's been like really kind of in the peripheral of like upper mid card main event scene when Zack Sabre Jr. won the G1 and then went on to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Beginning of this year, they did that again with David Finlay winning the New Japan Cup. But you really got to confirm the future. And I think that's what they're going to do with the two major tournaments of this year. I'll give you an early prediction if you guys want to put in bets now. Yota Tsuji is my pick for the G1 this year. But with the Best of Super Juniors, the obvious pick was Kosei Fujita. He's a guy who's a homegrown star within the Noge Dojo. He's came up and he's improved greatly, and he didn't even need an excursion. He didn't go through the regular process that the Noge Dojo graduates go through. He went from being a young lion into basically his excursion was him joining the TMDK and learning underneath Zack Sabre Jr. and Robbie Eagles, and the team with him and Robbie Eagles winning the Super Junior Tag League last year was a big, huge step for him. And then winning the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles at Wrestle Kingdom in January. And then once they lost the titles in April, I was like, no, I know my New Japan tropes. New Japan tropes is always, if you lose a title right before a tournament, you are probably going to win that tournament. And that's why I'm also predicting Gabe Kidd's going to beat Yota Tsuji for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. And then that will be the big tipping point that tells you Tsuji's winning the G1. Because that's what the New Japan always does. If they have someone pegged to win a tournament, and they already have a title, they're going to lose that title before the tournament, so they are free to win the tournament and then go on to win a bigger title. And I think that's what Kosei Fujita is about to do on Sunday when he versus Yo. I think that Yo is a very controversial pick for a lot of people because I know a lot of people, I saw some people tweeting out I wouldn't put Yo in like the top 15 of the tournament and stuff like that. People are kind of over Yo because he's kind of gone into this weird kind of eccentric style character, but he's someone that they can rely on and someone that's always kind of been in the peripheral. I mean, I really wanted from B block Robbie Eagles to win. I thought that would have been a better story for the finals. It's the two tag team partners from TMDK, Robbie Eagles, who's been an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, been an IWGP Junior Tag Team Champion, going against his young boy basically in Kosei Fujita. I thought that would have made sense for the final of this year's Best of Super Juniors. I really did not like how they booked my boy Robbie Eagles. I thought that he deserved more. The fact that he didn't main event any of the shows was a really slap in the face to Robbie. And then this morning he had one of the best matches of the tournament. Him and El Desperado is like, if you have to only watch one match from this morning show, go out of your way to watch that. They had an absolute clinic of technical wrestling at its finest. Two guys that are primarily known for their submission finishers, with El Desperado doing numero dos, and you got Robbie Eagles who does the Ron Miller special, and they're just going back and forth, counter for counter. counter, submission for submission. It was just back and forth, great stuff. The crowd was into it. They were totally engaged the whole time. And I'm just watching this match. I'm like, this should have been your main event of this show, because I thought Yo versus Ishimori was really good, but I didn't think it was better than that. That was the main event. That was the main match on the show. But for story purposes, Yo getting the win in the end to win the B block made sense as well. He did pick up a victory over El Desperado, so he kind of has a opportunity to go for the junior heavyweight championship in his back pocket, regardless of the result on Sunday. But it just makes sense. Kosei Fujita should win this tournament. He was the guy that many people thought would win at the beginning of the tournament, and not only that, he makes history if he wins on Sunday. He will be the youngest winner of the Best of Super Juniors tournament. So I think that the last two nights of the tournament have saved it from being one of like the weirdest booked tournament. It's still a very weirdly booked tournament, and some of the booking has been utterly ridiculous. How they all want to have everybody play 50-50, and that's just like, I don't like this. This tournament should have been about making a lot more guys, because at the end of the day, when you look at the overall tournament, the guy who had the most great matches is Hiromu Takahashi again. He's still the ace, even though he's about to graduate to the heavyweight scene. He's already won a heavyweight title in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but he is still carrying this division hard. And if he's going to move up to the heavyweight scene, they should have done more to put over more people in this tournament. They should have done more for Francisco Akira. They should have done more for Clark Connors. They should have done more for Robbie Eagles. Robbie Eagles is the Zack Sabre Jr. of the junior heavyweights. He's being disrespected right now, and you really need to do something to kind of put him over and put him on a higher stance, because he can fill the void for Hiromu Takahashi. But they're all worried about just keeping the top three in their same positions of Ishimori, El Desperado, and Hiromu. So
that's all they've ever done.
Exactly.
I'm glad we're at least getting Fujita and Yo in the finals, because it feels like every year it's some combination of Ishimori, Despi, and Hiromu. And even if it's not, like, one of them is always in the finals. So I'm glad we are getting something a little different. Like, Nick Wayne had some good performances throughout the tournament. You mentioned Robbie Eagles, like, he had some great performances throughout the tournament. Kevin Knight, obviously they weren't going to like put full stock into them when Nick and Kevin were going back to the US and everything. But at least they're trying to do something different with the division this year. I'm with you. They could have put a little more stock into certain people, but I'm glad we're getting Fujita and Yo, and it is something different. I'm with you that Fujita has to win. Like, I think it's a misfire if Yo wins. Yo and Sho were there, like, I feel like a decade ago at this point, and the time is past them. Like,
they came off Excursion back in like 2018. They came off Excursion, and who did they beat for the junior heavyweight titles? The Young Bucks. When the Young Bucks were junior heavyweights, that's like almost a decade ago now.
Yeah, they had something with them a while ago, and then they split them, and then I don't think they ever lived up to where I think a lot of people, definitely myself, like, thought they were going to get to with them. And now it just feels like, all right, your time is kind of past. Like, I don't think you can keep going back to Sho, or not even going back to them. I don't think it's going to be their time. It's over for them. But I'm fine with Yo in the finals as just something new and someone different there, but he should not be beating Fujita. Like, you're right that you got to put stock into other people, because Hiromu's moving up. Despi wants to do hardcore matches and doesn't care about the junior stuff anymore.
They just keep doing that zoom in on his back, and I'm just like, oh my god, it just makes me cringe every time. To answer Matthew, the final is on Sunday. Sunday morning is the final. Fujita versus Yo. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think this will be the second time that Yo is in a Best of Super Junior final. He was in the final in 2021 during the Hiromu Takahashi three-peat. He lost the second one to Hiromu during that three-peat that he was on, and that was like 38 minutes. That did not need to go that long. I hope this one is a little bit more like 20-25 minute final. I think that would be No, that'll be good. I think that's in his range. When he goes over 30, he's not that good, yo. But when he's in that
Every
20
match
to
over
25
30,
range.
every match that has ever existed that's over 30 minutes is a bad match.
No, you literally complimented Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page on Monday's show. I was here for that. I know. But yeah, a lot of these guys that are in this year's tournament, it feels like they're going up to the heavyweight scene. Like you had Kevin Knight basically saying that he wants to be in the G1, and then he wants to be in the G1, but they couldn't even he couldn't even get an over 500 record. Like, come on, Gato, like throw this man a bone, man. Kevin Knight was one of him and Nick Wayne were two of the gems of like the first half of this tournament, and then they just started 50-50 booking them, and they kind of just fell by the wayside. Really kind of the winners of this tournament, the guys that have stood out the most and gained the most from this tournament, is someone like a Ninja Mac, because he had all the viral moments that really kind of increased his popularity and his profile. Of course, Fujita for making it to the finals. Of course, Yo, because he picked up the big win over Desperado and he made it to the finals as well. And someone else who they should have done more with in this tournament, the two other people I would mention, is Teton. I understand that Teton is not always here, but he's a former finalist in the Best of the Super Juniors, so I think they should have done more with him. He did finish off, I think, 5-4, so at least he was above 500. And Master Wato was a former winner of the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, and then on the final night, you had him job out to Yoshinobu Kanemaru to set up Yo and Wato versus House of Torture for the junior heavyweight tag team titles. Yeah, I really want to see that, Gato. Sweet Jesus. Oh, go out of your way. No. I made a mistake. There is another match to watch from this morning, Jeremy, that I know you're going to love. Mao versus Show. Please go out of your way to watch.
Yeah, I saw some highlights of that. I was like, oh, yeah, this looks up my alley right here. Yeah. So I'm going to watch the show regardless. But yeah, that 100%.
He got hit with a van, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'll tell you. He got hit with it. Was straight up a DDT matchup in New Japan, and it just stood out so much. I loved it. He hit him with a big ass fist, Jeremy. He pulled out a big ass fist, and Walker Stewart, the gem that Walker Stewart is, he said, Mao just fisted Show. And shout outs to Walker Stewart. Congratulations to him. He got a big promotion. What's the title? I forget what the title is for Stardom. I think it's like Global Ambassador of PR and Communications.
Yeah, Global PR and Director of Global PR and Communications of Stardom.
Yeah.
There you go. He's basically running their social media and, trying to get them some good PR as everyone migrates to AEW.
Oh man, but yes.
They just fired someone, and then she shows up in AEW. Am I wrong?
Yeah, this is true. This is true. How this is not how to be a good partner, Tony. You shouldn't be rewarding this young woman for assaulting the president of Stardom.
Yeah, like how Excalibur's like, she got fired with cause from Stardom. Like, all right.
Not just assaulting people, but assaulting the president of Stardom.
And you hired her. Who are you, WWE? Just hiring people who get fired with cause?
No, they were straight up TNA with that segment. Hey, big debut. Moving on. Let's go to a mystical video package.
Oh, they do that all the time, though. They do that all the time with it. AEW moves very fast, which sometimes it's fine. Like, I don't mind how fast it moves, but sometimes like they just don't let stuff breathe, and it's very to the back with TNA. Of like, all right, let's go to the next segment. It's like, let's let breathe a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah. You could have given us a little bit more there, because even like her coming out, the lights cut. And then you go to the video wall, so it reveals Toxic Spider Thekla. And then she's already in the ring. She's already punched Jamie, so then she has to pick her up and punch her again on camera this time. And then she does her pose, which was great. She's great. Her doing the Toxic Spider pose. That's always awesome. But yeah, I wanted a little bit more. I am happy that Jamie Hayter, they immediately kind of after her loss at Double or Nothing gave her a new feud to jump into. I think that's a good sign that AEW is kind of giving her a slight reward for an awesome matchup with Mercedes that she had.
Until she loses this match, and then she's, who knows where she's going after that.
Hopefully they let it meet her for a little bit. Let them be in a casino gauntlet at All In, so they're all involved there. Like, come on, at least give me that.
So to peel back the curtain, as we like to do here, as people know, last night basketball was on, and once again I let our group chat know basketball on. Do not bother me with this thumbnail. I do not care. And then Dynamite unfolds, and I thought that the Hangman, Ospreay, and Swerve segment was excellent. And I'm setting up the show. And I'm like, all right, I assume that's just going to be the headline. Like, that was such a great segment. I assume that's going to be the thumbnail. So my other headline was Will Ospreay wants to swerve with Hangman. That was the other. That was the headline that I had literally written out and ready to post because I thought that was going to be the thumbnail. And then the Mercedes and Toni segment happens. I'm not saying this was a bad segment. I personally thought the Hangman, Ospreay, and Swerve segment was better and had more intrigue and had more directions with it. But Joel makes the thumbnail Mercedes and Toni, and I didn't care to complain. I didn't care to be like, I've already done the headline. Give me a different thumbnail. I was like, all right, I'll change the headline. And so this is the headline you have all been blessed with this morning, is that Toni Storm wants the money train deep in her tunnel. So you can partially thank Joel because my headline was different. This is the thumbnail he gave me, and so I changed up the headline. But really, you shouldn't thank Joel at all because he created more work for me, and so created more work for me on a basketball night. On top of that, he's lucky. He's lucky they played well and they were up big, because had this game not gone that way, I would have been irritated and pissed off, and I would have told him to change the thumbnail. I don't care what he's already created. So don't blame or don't thank Joel at all. Thank me. You're welcome for this headline. All right, I
thought both segments were great.
No, they were both great. I'm not saying like the Mercedes and Toni segment was bad. I just found more intrigue in the Hangman, Swerve, and Ospreay segment. This segment, Toni and Mercedes, was a very good segment to set up the upcoming weeks of television and to build to their match. But we know what this is about. This is about a woman who's been undefeated for over a year and the greatest women's champion of all time in AEW. Honestly, there's no real argument for anybody else, is there?
No. Okay. No, I don't think there is anymore. I know there's still a lot of shooters out there, but Toni bypassed her in the last reign. This reign is just confirming that she's the greatest women's champion in AEW history.
Yeah, so it's going to be the biggest women's match in AEW history. They're already saying it's going to be the greatest women's match in AEW history. I thought the promo segment was very good. We got Mercedes. She's going to keep doing this Beyonce of wrestling thing, which I respect.
That's why I loved Tony's response. I'm the Toni Storm of wrestling.
They both quipped back with some good one-liners. You know, when Toni was like, if you're going to ride the money train, make sure you get it deep inside the tunnel. And she's like, your hips can't handle the money train. I was like, all right, that was good. They both quipped back with some good one-liners on everything. And I thought it was a good segment. I thought Mercedes trying to strike on Toni was the right call because she is the heel on this. She should act like the heel. And then Toni getting the up for the first week also makes a lot of sense. So overall, yeah, I thought it was a good segment, and it adds more fire to the All-In match. It's not going to be the main event. I almost called it the main event, but it adds more fire to the All-In match. Now they got to continue to build it for the next few weeks, and I'm sure they'll do some tag team matches. I think we're going to get a Mercedes and Mina match in the next couple of weeks. That would be my guess. And like Toni's so good on promos. She's so good on promos that I have no doubt she will carry that portion of the feud. And as much as Mercedes can be a little cliche with her promos, she's definitely found her voice a lot more just throughout the course of the past year with this character. And Toni's so easy to play off of that Mercedes is good when she has someone like that to play off. Go like all the Bailey stuff. That was Mercedes at her best, whether they were a team or against each other. When she had someone like Bailey to play off of, she always stepped up her game on the mic. And again, we saw it last night, the quip she made back at Toni. She's very good when she has someone like that to bounce off of. And again, Toni's very easy to bounce off of. So I thought it was a good start to the feud.
Yeah, I like the fact that they went in a direction of like basically going over their parallel past and history to separate from each other. Like they've kind of been these two that have been kind of going towards the stratosphere but on opposite sides of the world basically, and then they were in the same company but they never really crossed paths other than like a triple threat matchup, but they had similar roads that led them to this greatest women's match of all time. And it was kind of like a moment of them being like, wow, we're actually here, we're actually at this point. And I love Toni kind of letting the veil of Timeless down a bit and kind of talking as Toni Storm a little bit more, saying that, you know, we both were at a place, we both received flowers and had these accolades, but we had to leave to come here and really show who we really are and become who we were supposed to be. And it was like a very much a tonal kind of overall with both segments, the opening and the close, of all the people involved in these top two title matches in AEW. It's about like making this company as big as humanly possible. They care about the company, they care about their own legacies so much, and it's not in the kind of tongue-in-cheek wink at the camera or we're struggling, we're suffering, let's feeling restored. It's more like a very much a ECW feel to it a bit, if you understand what I'm saying, where whenever people had rivalries that were about like, we're here, we care about ECW, it always elevated the company overall, whereas before, like especially in 2024, of we're trying to restore the feeling, we're trying to bring the feeling back. That's basically you acknowledging that the company is not as good as it used to be. And I think that the two promos on this show were more like, no, we're on the rise right now. We're on the rise. We're on the upswing, and we're here to bring us to a new peak, a new stratosphere of where we've never been before. And these two women are going to have the biggest and greatest women's match of all time. We're going to inspire the next generation. There's going to be a little girl that watches Timeless Toni Storm versus Mercedes Mone and wants to be there and wants to be at that spot, and we're going to be an inspiration for them. It made it feel bigger than any other women's match can possibly be, not just in AEW, but any other women's match that we're going to see this year. That's how I think both ladies treated the promo, treated the matchup, and I like that. I think it really set the right tone where you're going to get the debate from the AEW fan base leading into All In of which of these matches should be in the main event. It's going to be that question because of how Toni and Mercedes talked about the matchup. I loved the segment. I know there's going to be people that didn't like the material too much because I think they much more kind of lean towards her being the timeless character and playing on those things. But I think you got a mixture of that where she was able to kind of let down the character a bit, talk from the real person. Mercedes was able to flow with that as well. And I love the comment of I consider you, Mercedes, the greatest of all time. But too bad for you, I am timeless. I was like, this is why she's the best female wrestler in the world today. Character, mic work, reaction, in the ring, out of the ring. Mercedes Mone is excellent, and she is one of the greatest of all time. But Timeless Toni Storm is firing on Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1998 levels. She is like that. That's how big she feels to me as far as like the character, the connection with the audience, the connection with me. I just feel it on a whole nother level. And I love, that's why I said one of. Keyword was one of the greatest of all time. She's not the GOAT. We all know the GOAT is Becky. Okay, we all know that. We all know Becky's the GOAT. That's why Mercedes is one of the greatest of all time. So a Toni Storm right now is firing on all cylinders. She's the best in the world right now when it comes to women's wrestling. And I just love the tone that they set with the promo last night.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent, and I look forward to the continued promos. I think Tony's going to continue to shine when it comes to the promo work. And once they do some in-ring stuff, because I suspect we'll get a tag match again. I suspect we'll get Mercedes and Mina at some point. That's where Mercedes is going to really shine, because that's where she stands out the most. But that was, again, take nothing away from Mercedes on the mic last night. I thought she was great, and maybe one of her best overall promos since joining the company, because she fired back with some good quips on Tony. And it wasn't, I did like that Tony had a seriousness to it, because Tony, we know, can do great work of just like, let me make some jokes. And she did with the money train and deep in the tunnel and everything. But when Tony speaks like from the heart with stuff, the part of, we had to leave the other place, even though we were getting our flowers there, but we had to come here, and this is where we found who we truly were supposed to be. Like, when she speaks from the heart on that stuff, like she's just great on the mic all around. Like, just a top tier promo from, no matter the material, whether it needs to be serious, whether it needs to be funny, just a top tier promo. So that was a really good segment. Like, I have no complaints, no issues with it. That was a strong segment.
They definitely delivered, and I like the fact they were given the main event spot, because I was worried. I always go like what the lineup's going to be by how they show the graphics, and every time they showed the graphic, they showed Tony and Mercedes face to face, and then they showed Alexander and Brody King after that, and I was like, please don't have that main event. Please have the woman main event this show and close the show. So I was glad when that was the closing segment.
Yeah. And then the opening segment with Hangman Page coming out and talking about his victory, and then Swerve cut him off, and Swerve showed the video of the Young Bucks saying, "We screwed Swerve at Dynasty for you, Hangman. You said you didn't want him to win the title, so we ensured that he was not going to win the title. We did this for you. You're still our friend." Swerve asked Hangman, were you the reason why I didn't win? Hangman said, I looked you in the eyes, and if I wanted to put you down at Dynasty and cost you the title, I would have done it myself. I wouldn't have needed them. Ospreay came out and said, once you're in the ring with someone, you learn about them, and he showed me respect afterwards the same way you did. He is not the issue. And together, all three of us can band together, and we can get that title back, and we can show off the title and what it's supposed to mean. And Swerve said, "Get the fuck out of here, bruv. I ain't teaming with this guy." He didn't use those exact words. I might be paraphrasing. He said, "I ain't teaming with this dude." Yeah. This dude, Ospreay saying, like, once you're in the ring with this guy, you learn more about him. And I'm thinking, like, dude, Swerve had a needle jabbed into his cheek by this guy. Are you telling me that Swerve doesn't know what it's like to be in the ring with Hangman, and what it means to be in the ring with him, and what it means to battle with him? And Swerve said, "Yeah, I'm not doing that. We ain't the Three Musketeers out here. So peace out." And that was, I thought this was really good. As much as I'm making jokes about things, like, I thought this was excellent and set up everything going to All In, because now I'm thinking Ospreay and Swerve might be the All In match. Or dude,
you know how much I popped? Because I tell y'all all the time, I usually talk about this only on here. I don't even talk about it on True Heat. But I've been doing like features for Wrestle Talk. So one of the features that I got this week was matches to add to All In. And I was wrecking my brain because I had gotten asked on the Double or Nothing review on True Hill. Someone asked, I think it was like Puff Dutch. I remember the person who commented. He was like, "Who will face at All In?" Because I know a lot of people that wanted Will to win the Owen Hart Cup are like, "Oh man, I think it was 2FK. I remember you because you were very upset about Hangman winning. Sorry, 2FK, not to single you out, but I remember you were so upset, and you said you had Forbidden Door tickets that you were going to sell because you didn't want to see Will in the mid card. And I was like, damn. I was like, I respect it. I respect your loyalty to the bruv. The bruv is my dude. He complimented me, and I always praise him. So shout outs to the bruv. But I was like, nah, there's got to be options. And my answer to the person at the end of the podcast was, I think it's going to be Ospreay versus Jay White. Maybe Jay White comes back and he can face him. Or I was like, it could be Ospreay versus Samoa Joe, because I know that's a dream match for him that he's always mentioned. And then I got that feature this week, matches to add to All In, and I was like, yeah, if it's not going to be Swerve and Hangman versus the Young Bucks, I think you can find something else for the Young Bucks to do. I think you should do Swerve versus Ospreay. Pick two of your top stars against one another, one-on-one. I think that would be cool. And I see Henry in the chat saying Ospreay and Swerve versus the Bucks. Yeah, that would still be a great matchup, but I think it would mean more if it's Swerve versus Ospreay. I think if Will is kind of very persistent on trying to trying to get Swerve to help Hangman get the win, it can anger Swerve to the point that he gets upset with Ospreay and he attacks him and goes after him. They start going at it and it leads to a big matchup, because that would be a huge undercard or like middle of the card or even opener of the show type of matchup with two of your top stars against one another, where they fight it out. Will can get his win back over Swerve, or you can make it like a number one contenders matchup to set up Will getting a shot in London, something like that. I was so happy, Jeremy, when when Will came out. I was like, wait, am I getting what I put in this article? What I put in this feature? Am I gonna look like the smartest man in the room? I got so hyped, but like, I was not as hyped as that crowd in El Paso. They got holy shit chants for just these three guys standing in the ring together. This really feels like the three top baby faces in this company, the three pillars of the dynasty era in the ring together. It was on the big three status, as you said, three musketeers, any type of three you want to put out there. This just felt big time as soon as they were in the ring. And it just kept getting better and better, this opening segment, because I thought that Hangman, that promo that he cut was fabulous. I thought that he had so much passion, so much intensity and emotion. You saw the fire in his eyes again, and he really just brought it on the mic, saying that he promises the people he will be back in Texas. He will take that title out the briefcase. He will raise it in the air. He will bring it back to All Elite Wrestling. And I love the fact that he calls it the All Elite Wrestling Men's World Championship. That is so.
He's always done that. He's always done that. Even going back to his first reign, he would always call it the men's world title.
He is so awesome. I just love Hangman so much. He's just so good. He's a character that's so well layered and has so much history to play off of. But like it, and then the segment got better when Swerve came out. And I like Swerve not even saying what he was out here for, showing the video of the Bucks saying that they did this for Hangman and all of that. I like that. I like that a lot. And then him questioning Hangman, like, were you behind this? Were you down with this plan? And I love the Hangman, just his first word out of his mouth in response to Swerve is dumbass. He's like, dumbass. No, if I wanted to do it, I would do it myself. So I like that. I like him addressing Swerve, and then them getting in each other's face, and then Will kind of being the middleman of someone who's has this established friendship with Swerve, but has gained so much respect from one of the greatest matches in AEW history against Hangman at Double or Nothing, and being like, I thought I was the guy. I thought you know, when you had your shot, I thought you would be the guy. No, it's not me. It's not you. He's the guy. He's the guy. He's been the main character of AEW. He was the first hero of AEW. He's the one that needs to do it. And if we're gonna be able to save this title, save it from the Death Riders, we need to get behind him. And I just love Swerve just being like, man, get that mic out your hand. like what? I will never work with him. I love all the character motivations. I loved all the promos here. This was an A+, what I call a 5-star promo segment, because it left you with like just, wow, that was great. And then you had things that you can think of what's the next step? Where is this going to go? This sets up a big time storyline for the next 6-7 weeks heading into All In Texas.
So I mentioned, are they going to do Swerve and Ospreay? And I just threw that out there. My true guess is it will be Ospreay and Swerve against the Young Bucks. That's where I think they are going with this. And maybe that leads to an Ospreay turn. Maybe it leads to a Swerve turn. I don't think it does, mind you. Just kind of spitballing on things. I don't think either of them are going to turn. I think it is more likely that they unite, they band together, and they end up defeating the Young Bucks at night 1 of AEW All In, and then night 2 at AEW All In between Hangman and Jon Moxley. We get all the run-ins, and the Young Bucks come in, Swerve comes in, Ospreay comes in, but then it ends with Okada giving Hangman the spiked thumb to the neck as Hangman is setting up the buckshot lariat, and Jon Moxley.
Okada is solo. This guy needs to be stopped, ladies and gentlemen. No, this is basically the AEW version of Avengers Endgame. It needs to be that. And right now, Hangman and Swerve are Captain America and Iron Man in Civil War. That's what's happening right now. We're just in the first stage. We haven't even got to Infinity War yet. Hopefully we get into Infinity War over the next 2 weeks with the 4-hour shows, that we can get into Infinity War status where the Death Riders are now dominant, and it looks like there's no hope before we get to Endgame unless All In is Infinity War, and then the bat, and then Thanos wins in the end.
This is I don't understand your Marvel references. This is WrestleMania 39. That's all I understand. Wrestling references. This is WrestleMania 39. SP3.
I hope not. No,
it's Hangman and Moxley. This is Cody and Roman, and here comes the Young Bucks, but they get fended off by Swerve and Ospreay, because Swerve and Ospreay won in the main event of night 1. And then here comes, who it should be, Okada. Forget Okada. Okada being solo is just very funny, and I thought that was hilarious.
It should be Jack Perry.
Jacking off Hangman Page, Jack Perry.
That makes more sense. That was very that was
back.
Very disrespectful to Okada, saying
that's
solo,
what I said.
Just because they have the same hair color. That's not funny. Solo, Jack Perry being solo, that makes
with sense. A literal spike to spike Hangman Page. Forget this thumb spike. Jack Perry's got an actual spike with him, and he Jack spikes Hangman Page right there. Yeah, that's what we need. And then Jon Moxley retains the world title and the main event of All In, and all you AEW dorks gotta wait a year as Jon Moxley continues the greatest title reign of all time.
Like if they don't do that, if All In Texas is WrestleMania 40, then I will go on record. I will be on this show, because I see already people on Twitter already want to take back, or maybe this thing has been working. No, it's only working unless you get the job done and you complete the story at your biggest show of the year. It worked if you sell over 25,000 seats. I would say hopefully maybe 30 to 35,000 seats, which is a huge endeavor right now, because they were only at 15,000 before Double or Nothing. But if they are able to get to 30,000, 35,000 in Globe Life Field and Hangman wins in Globe by Field to end the reign, then yes, it is all worth it because business has been on the up lately. This whole thing has been on an upswing, but you are risking alienating so many of your fans if you do this. If you do this and have Jon Moxley win on July 12th.
Jon Moxley should win. Look at the numbers, SP3. Look at the YouTube numbers. Look at the ratings. Everything's gone up. People are saying, oh, it's not working. It's not working. The metrics tell you it is working. Just because some dorks online are mad and they want the minority, the vocal minority out here are mad about it. Now, once you got past the cope stuff, that stuff sucked.
Yeah, it really does feel like like the cope of it all was really bringing it down.
Yeah, that stuff was awful. Once you got past that, look at it since then. They've been cooking with Jon Moxley and now Gabe Kidd being added and the Death Riders out here. It's been working, SP3. And it's going to continue, and it should continue until AEW All In 2028.
Oh God, not even 2026. Jesus, he wants him to go on a legit 4-year run.
Yeah, Moxley gonna come out and he's gonna start just pointing up to the sky, saying, "Acknowledge me." He's gonna just keep adding people. Like, I didn't know Moxley had so many friends. Yeah,
he's gonna have the wise woman, Marina Shafir.
The wise woman.
The wise woman.
She holds that briefcase like Heyman holds the Ulafala. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Wise woman, Marina Shafir.
Wheeler is solo, dude. Wheeler.
Yeah. He has played the solo role this whole time. He can't be the wise man. It has to be Marina. Marina is more the wise woman.
Yeah. Just wait, more Death Riders, everybody. I hope you enjoy your Death Riders because we're going to get more of them. Darby Allin climbed that mountain. He's going to have to climb it again because he ain't beating Jon Moxley. He's going to send him back up the mountain. Said, you were better off just making multiple trips up there instead of wasting your time challenging me for the title.
Hey, we can get to Darby. We'll get to Darby later. Don't worry, Darby. You'll get your run with the AEW World Championship, like in 2027.
Jon Moxley's gonna stack Swerve and Ospreay at Forbidden Door. That's the play. Swerve and Ospreay beat the Young Bucks. All right, cool. You beat the Young Bucks. Getting stacked at Forbidden Door. Double choke, actually. Double choke. Double bulldog choke.
Double bulldog. He just bullies them. Like.
Yup. They both tap out. They do that spot where, he reaches his arm out to save him from tapping. I hate that spot. It's so hokey. But they do that. Swerve reaches out. Don't tap. And then finally Swerve has to tap out. And then Ospreay taps out as well. And they both tap out. Hell yeah.
Yes. You hear my daughter crying at this booking in the background?
She coming in telling me to shut the fuck up. She's crying tears of joy. She's like,
she's crying.
Yes.
She's like, I can't
Jon
even come
Moxley,
in here and tell you to shut
Jon
up.
Moxley's done it. He's staying the champion for 2028. Those are tears of
she's like, you're not going to do this to my bruv, not to the bruv.
Those are tears of joy. When Harlem is mad, she's jumping in there with the shut the hell up.
I'm going to let you continue. I just wanted to be a braggadocious dad in the crowd clapping for my kids. My daughter had an assessment today. She's reading at an 8-year-old level at 5 years old.
Nice.
Just had to mention that. I said I would brag about her today.
Love it. Harlem, the true star of this show. The real star. Yeah. Absolutely. Love Harlem. Hope she makes you another sandwich that you refuse to eat.
She tends to do that, yes. Reading at an 8-year-old level at 5 years old. And you know how? because she reads every title of every Coco Melon video that's on YouTube. That's how she's learned how to read at an 8-year-old level.
People are advocating for me to have the pencil, as they should, mind you.
No,
this is the
no.
kind of
People, it's like 2 people.
It's 3, thank you. And that's still more than they're not advocating for me to have the pencil. So it's 3-0 right now. This is the kind of stuff you're getting on Ring of Hallucinations, by the way. Shout out, by the way, to my guys, the Frat House, Jack Jameson, doing God's work on the mic. They should get more television time.
That was god awful.
That rule. We're not going to disrespect the Frat House. The Frat House rules.
I had the same face as Katsusori Shibata. I was like, why is this here? I'm already like, why is this happening on Ring of Honor where they actually win? But then they made for fun jobbers to the ops. Them just having Hobbs give spine busters to everyone in the Frat House was great.
The Frat House is great, man. That's the kind of
Jack
stuff.
Jameson
that
is great.
was. Oh, he rules. Love Jack Jameson. Shout out to him. He the Frat House, like that is a total just ROH, my ROH gimmick. I would do so much shit with the Frat House. We would do all the vignettes like that all the time. Just going around, going to different bars, playing beer pong, making fools of ourselves.
You should have like vignettes where they're making the pledges stand against the wall in the sit down position without a chair.
Oh,
and that's like the whole thing. That's like the whole vignette. It's like all the things they make them do for the pledges. That should be all the vignettes.
We can't do hazing though. There's rules and regulations against that nowadays.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's like, you know, head of the university, Tony Khan, says that we can't haze you anymore. So how about you get my laundry?
Now we're gonna say Shad Khan. We're gonna make Shad Khan canon.
Oh, okay.
In here, or we'll just say Daniel Bryan. We'll just make it seem like who's Daniel Bryan? What's that name? That's what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, beer pong for the. We don't have titles in Ring of Hallucinations. Remember, it's just drugs. That's what we're playing for.
We gotta fight for the right to do drugs.
Stephon Diggs is going to be the dean of admissions.
Oh yeah,
if you know, you know on that one. If you know,
Cole Carter is not that good. 2 dimes. He botched twice in that matchup. That matchup was like 2 minutes long, and he botched twice.
Yeah.
He slipped off the top rope. Then he didn't jump in time for the spine buster.
That's the problem. They're trying to have these guys wrestle. Like, no, we ain't doing none of that on Ring of Hallucinations. We ain't doing wrestling.
Like,
we're gonna get fans.
Overrated.
We're gonna get fans to come in the ring to play beer pong against the Frat House. That's gonna be one of our gimmicks. And if you win, you get to join the Frat House. We're giving people jobs out here. SP3. This is a great idea. Frat House. We're pushing them on Ring of Hallucinations, baby. What else happened on Dynamite? Nothing else matters. The Frat House stole the show. Who could possibly care?
He's just gonna keep going on and on about the Frat House. The Frat House was the best thing on the show for Jeremy.
My guys, Jack Jameson. I'm BGU. You know your Bullet Club. I feel like I'm Frat House. I feel like I'm grandfathered in a Frat House because I was part of BGU. So I think I'm part of the group. I mean, I can message Jameson and be like, "Hey, am I part? Am I Frat House?" Like, he'll probably tell me yes. So I gotta ride for Frat House, and I gotta get Ring of Hallucinations and make sure they get the proper push. Will Ospreay would love this stuff. He'd 100% be doing these vignettes. Will Ospreay's just a bruv. He'd be like, yeah, what are you guys doing? You playing beer pong? You playing flip cup? What's going on over here?
Let's play some flip cup. Let's play some flip cup. I'm down.
What are we drinking?
Go karaoke.
Although
we can go karaoke in. Let's do it.
Hangman's the dude, you know that meme where the people are partying and Hangman's just like standing there and it's like, oh, they don't know that I'm thinking about whatever. That's Hangman. He's just chilling in the corner while everybody else is having a good time, just drinking his beer. Like they don't know I'm thinking about plants right now. I'm thinking about how to tend to my garden out here.
He's thinking about education. That's what Hangman's thinking about. Like, how can we better the education system? That's what he needs to do.
That's Hangman right there. What else happened on this show? I don't care about the rest. We've talked about the most important thing.
I mean, to finish out with the opening segment, yeah, I think you guys are probably right that we'll probably get Ospreay and Swerve versus the Young Bucks, or rather Ospreay versus Swerve, so I can be right. You know, that's all I'm worried about is being right. But yeah, I love that segment. That segment was absolutely fantastic. Best segment on the show, or 1A, 1B with the closing segment, and really kind of the main talking point from last night's Dynamite. Outside of that, there was the opening matchup, which was the mixed trios matchup, or party match of the night, which was the ultimate babyface team, more babyface than babyface can handle, is Willow Nightingale, Mark Briscoe, and Speedball Mike Bailey, facing the Death Riders of Jon Moxley, Marina Shafir, the Wise Woman, and the mercenary Gabe Kidd. I love Gabe Kidd embracing that he is now part of the Death Riders by not wearing his regular gear and wearing jeans, so he could be Gabe Moxley and do a twin magic matchup.
I'm glad that they wore different color shoes, because that was the only way I could tell them apart at times. I was like, Moxley's got the black shoes on, Gabe Kidd's got the white shoes on. That's how we can. I think Moxley had his wrist taped as well, and Gabe Kidd didn't. But they're gonna smarten up, and they're gonna wear the same clothes, and you're not gonna be able to tell them apart. And yeah, they will pull twin magic. That's how I'm booking the main event. SP3.
Looked like a lot of people were upset that Gabe Kidd spit at Willow Nightingale online, but I mean, Willow's gonna put him through a table soon, so who cares?
I assume it was, it was cleared. Maybe not. I don't know. Gabe Kidd
is a loose cannon, to be fair.
Yeah, he just does stuff. Yeah, he just does stuff. Main event of All In. Hangman Page is going to hit after all the interference, mind you, before Jack Perry gets there and makes his big return, but after other interference. It's in the middle of like the Bucks and Swerve and Ospreay and everything. Hangman's going to hit the buckshot lariat and he's going to pen 1, 2, 3, big celebration. But then the referee's going to notice that he penned Gabe Kidd and not Jon Moxley.
The ultimate Dusty finish.
We're gonna do a screw finish on top of just all this interference, and that is when, as the referee is checking to see, like, oh, this is Gabe Kidd, this isn't Jon Moxley, and Hangman's celebrating with the title in the corner. That's when Jack Perry jack-offs Hangman Page with the spike, and then Jon Moxley comes in and pins Hangman. That's the finish, everyone. How many people would I piss off with this booking?
I would piss off everyone.
I might run off the entire audience with this booking.
Everyone is pissed off at you for that booking. If you do a freaking Dusty finish, the Kurt Angle, Eric Angle, he pinned the wrong guy. Oh man, I would be so tight too. I can't front. Look, you got Big Man Dog sold. He's like, give you the bed. Please give Jeremy the bed.
People like terrible booking when it's not actually going to come to fruition. But if that happened, so many people would be upset. The stadium would just be that. My goal is to cause an actual riot. All these people who are like, "Oh, Cena wins, we riot." They didn't riot. Nothing happened. I want to see if I can let's get it back to the old days where people are actually rioting and throwing batteries and throwing, beer cans and stuff. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get the actual heat back in pro wrestling. I don't want this new heat where everybody gets a "this is awesome" chant and a "you deserve it" chant. No, that ain't heat. I want real heat in pro wrestling. I'm bringing back. That's the feeling I'm restoring. Real heat. That's what I'm
real
getting.
heat to the point of leaving.
But they wouldn't just leave unhappy. I want them back in the day where they were threatening fans or threatening wrestlers in the parking lot and shit. That's the kind of stuff that I want. Like, you can't even exit the building without getting ready to get into a fight. When men were men and we had guns and knives, that's the kind
when they used to pull out guns on the wrestlers, like the Sheik.
Yeah.
When he pulled out the gun on the Sheik, and then he tried to pull the trigger, but the gun jammed, and then the cop pulled the trigger instead. Yes, I watched Dark Side of the Ring, ladies and gentlemen. But I do not want to see any of this. I will not give Jeremy the pen, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do this to our beloved wrestling promotions. Maybe Ring of Honor. We're at the point where we just need anybody to take the pen from Tony.
That's all I want is Ring of Honor. Because but if I get the pin for Ring of Honor, we're going to be running stadium shows. We're going to surpass TNA at the very least.
That's fair. That's fair. They can't even get on Tubi. They can't even get on Tubi.
We're going to surpass these stadium shows, and we're going to have real heat back in pro wrestling. We're going to have people waiting outside. You don't know if they want to join the frat house, or they want to murder top heel Blake Christian, because that's the ace of the promotion.
Oh man.
And this is how we're booking him. Yeah,
that would be interesting. I did like the mixed trios matchup. I love that the fact that Willow feels more over right now, which is really cool. The fact that after the Anarchy in the Arena, she feels even more over. And Mark Briscoe and Speedball Mike Bailey, they don't know how to give anything but 100% in anything they do. I just thought that this was just a pay-per-view, and then they're just going out there like they didn't just wrestle these high rate singles matches at the pay-per-view. Everybody else is banged up. Not Mark Briscoe and Speedball Mike Bailey. They're just out here balling in this mixed trios matchup. So really good opener there. And of course, Mark Briscoe always has to take the loss. Why do we always do this to our poor Mark Briscoe? Can Mark Briscoe win a big matchup?
In fairness on Mark Briscoe taking this loss, I don't think he should have been wrestling anyway to sell the stretcher match, but the fact that he came out in Anarchy in the Arena, he kind of did sell the stretcher match by just making an appearance on that. So it's fine, wrestle, whatever. But him taking a loss at least made sense in the fact that of all the people, he was the most kind of beat up from everything. Yeah. So fine. I do wish they would give Mark Briscoe some big wins. If I had Mark Briscoe in Ring of Hallucinations, he'd be the top baby face. He'd be my Cody Rhodes, getting screwed over for a year until he finally got the big victory.
I mean, they did do that. They did that with Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but
he didn't beat a heel. He beat Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, beat Eddie Kingston.
Another beloved babyface. I like the no DQ tag match with Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Harley Cameron and Anna Jay. My only nitpicks for that one was I didn't think it needed to go that long, and two, damn Penelope, y'all were doing so well, and then you just whiffed on the Doomsday device.
It was a fine match. I don't love the decision of just, hey, they won at the pay-per-view, and now we're going to do the same match, but no DQ, and then the other team is going to win.
50-50 booking.
Yeah, I didn't love. And you knew once they announced it, I was like, oh yeah, because Penelope took the loss of the pay-per-view, so you protect Megan Bayne there. It's like, yeah, Megan Bane's gonna just beat him in this no DQ match.
Yeah.
So
I think that matchup on the pay-per-view was just basically foreshadowing how they booked end the pay-per-view with the first match on the buy-in having a surprise winner with Harley and Anna going over there to bookend and foreshadow that Hangman was going to be the surprise winner in the main event. So then they just had to make things even again and give us the winner that we expected at the pay-per-view.
Well, then I guess, are we going to get a Ospreay and Hangman no DQ rematch, and then Ospreay is gonna win that?
Okay. And don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. I love when the women go over. I love the Mercedes Mone and Jamie Hayter, Kai. So don't do that. Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just this match, I don't think it needed to go 11 minutes. Megan Bain should be like the powerhouse. I like Harley and Anna working together to put her through the table. And Harley getting to look like a badass by getting her nose busted on the steel steps, and then coming in and still fighting and feeling the wrath, and then eventually being put down. But yeah, it just if it ends like that with the whiff on the Doomsday device, it's like, yeah, you probably didn't need to go that long.
Yeah. Oh, Jay Hayes sent us a super chat. Says, how do you feel if the Hurt Syndicate is actually being positioned as the next big bads post All In / Death Rider saga rather than turning on MJF? Okay. All right.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah. I haven't really seen that brought up just because they're just beating a bunch of mid-card tag teams and haven't even like mentioned the Death Rider stuff. But I can see that potentially happening. I don't know if it will, but I'm not opposed. Not opposed to it. But that's got to be after All In, and they did mention post All In, so it'd have to be after All In. And then what? Death Riders don't have any titles though, and that's been the Hurt Syndicate thing, is they're going after like gold on top of just like.
But MJF said he's going after the Triple B, so I did like how they looked in that promo segment on last night's show. They did look like a unit, despite, of course, MJF standing out because.
I apologize when I said Death Riders. Obviously, they do have the world title. I'm thinking post All In. I'm thinking Hangman's actually going to win the title, and so Death Riders at that point wouldn't have any titles. But if they do my idea of Jon Moxley retains the title, then yeah, Hurt Syndicate going after them.
No. I think what they're saying is Death Riders are now the vanquished big bads. So now the Hurt Syndicate are still the big bads. Instead of Hurt Syndicate going babyface and feuding with MJF, they keep MJF in the Hurt Syndicate, and that's the new top heel faction.
Okay, all right,
That's how I got the super chat, at least.
Okay, gotcha. My bad, Jay Hayes. If that's what you meant, that's my fault. I misread it. I thought you were talking about setting up a feud between Death Riders and Hurt Syndicate. So okay, all right. I do like that. Then I actually like this idea more than I originally mentioned of it, because I actually like that.
I actually like that more than them just turning on MJF, because it would feel really rushed if they did turn on it, even though that feels like the logical matchup because of all the build that they have done to do like MJF versus Lashley. But everything would feel rushed of trying to get the titles off of the Hurt Syndicate before the pay-per-view, even though you have the two big shows, the 4-hour shows over the next 2 weeks, and you would think maybe they'll do maybe a title change or two on those shows. But I would rather the Hurt Syndicate be kind of like solidify them with MJF, find another big match for MJF at All In, and then following All In, they are the new kind of dominant heel faction in AEW.
Yeah, I do like that. They're just going to relinquish the tag titles, by the way. They're not putting anybody over. They're going to Samoa Joe like he did with the TV title. It's like, anyway, I don't really want this thing anymore. I'm going after the world title. That's what Lashley and Shelton are going to do. Like, we beat everybody. If y'all want to bring out somebody from ROH to go after these titles again, go for it. Yeah, go for it. We can
retire now
out here.
Bye, guys. I liked Lashley giving MJF the side eye when he said he was going to get the AEW world title. Lashley like, so I'm not? He's like, I'm undefeated. What are you talking about?
Who are they going to put with Ricochet? Who do you think it's going to be?
If you just listen to the promo, I think he was teasing Crew, which stylistically, I mean, I don't think it's only going to be Crew, but I think Crew is going to be part of this group. I think they need like a heater of some kind. Maybe it's like maybe you put Gates of Agony.
Yeah,
with
Crew
that
ain't
group
heaters.
well. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be Crew and a heater, a big guy of some kind.
I think Gates of Agony makes more sense. Like Ricochet playing like chicken shit kind of heel, hiding behind two big dudes makes sense. Crew, and I don't need a 5-man group with Crew and Gates of Agony. You've told me Crew were just kind of dorks. No offense to them, but they ain't. I can't take them serious. And Ricochet, like aligning with them, I don't think that's a great dynamic. Honestly, Gates of Agony makes sense with Ricochet. Crew just
Gates would also make sense of their history with Swerve, and Ricochet has his own history with Swerve, so it would make sense for him to just be like, I'm just gonna get the guys that Swerve fired. Let me just get them on my team. I wouldn't mind if it's Gates and Crew. I like Crew. I'm a fan of Crew. I'm a fan of Crew more than Top Flight at this point, but
that's not saying much.
Yeah,
that's not saying much. What if it's the Sons of Texas?
Oh God, why do you always do this to me? You know how to trigger me when the people that I don't like, you just bring them up.
Sammy Guevara, the suits, they're going to make the suits make sense. Sammy Guevara is going to be like, I like your suit. And Ricochet is like, thanks. I like your suit as well. And Ricochet is like, I wear mine because I'm a heel, and it makes sense for heels to wear suits. And I think it's funny. And people dislike it when I wear it. Why do you wear your suit? And Sammy's like, well, don't tell anybody. But I want to be a bad guy, but I'm a good guy. There used to be this guy here who was a very famous TNT champion, and he acted like a good guy, but was kind of like a bad guy, and the crowd didn't know how to react. And I'm basically just doing that all over again. And Ricochet's like, oh, okay. What happened to that guy? It seems like he no longer exists, but he was the brother of my tag team partner.
No, he was the Dark Knight of AEW.
That's how they bond. They bond over a guy who's no longer there, who also wore suits, and Sammy believes he's doing just Cody's bit at the end of Cody's run. And then Dustin comes in all fired up. And he's like, I've been to hell, and I've looked the devil in the eyes, and he told me you guys should be wearing these suits. You guys need more heart. You need more soul. You need more adrenaline in your heart.
I took the fire of the dragon, and I took it down. Oh, God. What are we doing? What are we doing? No. I've been saying this for weeks, Ricochet should just join the Elite. Why does he need to make his own group? Just join the Elite, man. We need you. F them jackoffs.
No. Absolutely not. We can't have Ricochet joining the Elite over Jack Perry's return. Unless Jack Perry is good. This is how Jack Perry's the scapegoat. Jack Perry is gonna be like Batman, the real Dark Knight out here.
Oh man.
Just a man who has been disowned by his group, who he thought they were his friends, and they turned against him. John Moxley doesn't accept him. Jack Perry, he's gonna be like Sting. He's gonna be in the rafters. Everyone's just turned against me. He's gonna start wearing the face paint, get the beard and everything. He's gonna wear the goat mask in the rafters for a year.
That's gotta be Jack. That's gotta be Jack.
And
it's Jack.
And when Jack Perry comes down, jacking off on everybody, the crowd's gonna go crazy. Jack Perry coming from the rafters.
You guys got to stop this man. You can't let him have the pen for anything. What are we talking about at this point? AEW.
The crowd's gonna chant, "Please come, Jack! Please come, Jack!"
I try to move on and talk about something else because I'm not gonna indulge in any of this. Please come, Jack. Oh God. You popping yourself right now? That's what Jack said. Yeah. Jack forever. Jack forever.
How do I not have the pencil, SP3?
I know why. I don't think you do. You also had a TNT championship on the line.
Is Adam Cole okay?
Yo, I was like, why did he do it? Why did Kyle Fletcher try to murder this man? Why was he so far away for an apron bomb? The point of the apron bomb is you got to make sure his back lands on the apron, his neck. Oh, I was like, his neck, his head. I was like, if Adam Cole didn't have bad luck, he would have no luck at all.
That looked like it. I'm glad he's okay. He continued the match. He did the thing afterwards, but like that looked like it sucked. That just looked like it sucked. Also, why did Tony Khan copy Triple H's notes? Like, I got to do a DQ finish here. Don't do that, Tony.
Yeah,
come on now.
He's like, it's been a while. It's been a while. We went a lot of weeks without a DQ finish. Let's do one here. He was like, everybody's banged up. That was the report. PW Insider saying a lot of people were banged up, as well as Fightful reporting that the Young Bucks were banged up following Double or Nothing. So he was like, got to put out a title match, something big on this show, but let's not give him a finish. Let's make it a DQ finish because we got to do this match at a later date. We got to do this match on one of the 4-hour shows, basically.
I thought they would just go time limit on it because I didn't think we were going to get a finish because I don't think they want to beat Kyle Fletcher. And I didn't think Adam Cole was going to lose the title this quickly just on television. I thought they were going to do a time limit finish, but I guess because they just did that with Garcia and Cole a month ago, they're like, maybe we shouldn't run another time limit, so let's run a DQ. Like AEW they don't do it every single week or twice a week, so I'm more forgiving of it. I really wasn't that mad that they did a DQ finish here. It was a pretty obvious setup when you saw the match get announced. Like, oh yeah, we're probably not getting a winner on this one. Just don't make it a habit. That's all I'm asking. I just don't want this to turn into once a week, which I don't think they will. I think Tony's smarter than that.
I would hope so. And I like how they've been doing this theme, I think like since the beginning of the year, of the Don Callis family threads throughout a show, of going from one Don Callis family match to the other. It's very much coded. It feels very much ECW coded. So I think that Don Callis has his fingerprints on it because the network back in ECW were known for this as well, of let's have the person who's in the next matchup interfere in this matchup so that it can lead naturally into the next match. And that's what they did here with Brody King coming out to make the save for Cole when he was jumped by Josh Alexander and Kyle Fletcher. And then that led into Brody and Alexander in the 4-way qualifier match. And they called it a 4-way qualifying match. They didn't call it a tournament match. So I didn't note that in my notes here. And I love this match. I thought that this match was probably the best match on the show last night because they just beat the hell out of each other. And then freaking Brody landed on Josh's face on the German suplex and he just started leaking. OD. It was like the blood just got more and more. It just looked like his nose got cut. And then by the end of the matchup, he's just like a crimson mass. That shit looked awesome.
I was going to say, is Josh Alexander okay? Adam Cole is Adam Cole was moving. He was fine. He finished the match. He fought with Kyle Fletcher backstage. Is Josh Alexander okay? Like, he looked dead in the ring after this match. Like, can you move? Can you just show me some type of sign of life here, Josh? He got his ass beat, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad Brody King won, mind you.
Yeah,
like,
I was surprised by that finish because I'm not used to Brody winning these type of matches.
Yeah. I'm glad Brody won. He rules. I don't know if he's gonna get a big singles push out of this at all, more than just like if Buddy can come back soon, that's the team to beat Hurt Syndicate if he can return. But hopefully Buddy's back sooner rather than later, and hopefully they do get a big push coming out of it. Anything else from Dynamite?
That was like the main parts. We talked about the two big promo segments. I think we talked about pretty much all the matches.
What about the frat house?
No, I think we talked about that. Pretty sure we talked about that. If we didn't, I don't care. We talked about it. So yeah, that was pretty much all the major points from yesterday in regards to that.
All right. That was a good episode of Dynamite. Coming off of Double or Nothing, they hit the points they needed to hit, particularly with Hangman and Mercedes coming off their victories at Double or Nothing. Both of those segments were fantastic, setting up All In. And those are the two big matches for All In. And I'm glad the build is immediately started on there. We didn't get Hangman and Moxley just yet, but we've at least got Hangman moving forward, looking towards Moxley, and still some threads with Swerve and Ospreay, which will likely set up some other stuff at All In with the Elite. So yeah, that was a good show.
I would go as far as to say it was their best post pay-per-view episode of the year so far. I did not like the post Revolution episode because everybody was kind of banged up and injured. So I think like Mox wasn't there, Cope wasn't there. I don't remember if Swerve was even on that show. The post Dynasty episode was the one with the Kenny Omega poop on the carpet promo. And I did not like that episode too much. I give that like a thumbs in the middle. This was like a certified thumbs up. Good show, hit all the notes that it needed to type of show for the post pay-per-view. I thought it was their best one of the year so far. Probably their best post pay-per-view episode since the Dynamite after Wrestle Dream, which followed up the whole angle with the Death Riders murdering Bryan Danielson pretty well, where they were the focus of that episode. I think this is the best one since then.
Okay. Your memory on this stuff's better than mine. I couldn't tell you what the post episode of any of these pay-per-views were. I only remember Thunder tweets from 9 years ago. I don't remember wrestling shows from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, my memory is not that good. Not the greatest either anymore at my old age. I just remember the Revolution post one started with an Omega promo where he set up the matches for the tournament to determine who was going to face him at Dynasty. That had Speedball's debut, which was the good part of that episode, and Toni's promo where she talked about Orgy and then she got jumped by Megan Bain. But everything else on that show was kind of like, it's kind of just matches for matches' sake. And then the post Dynasty one was the one with the Omega poop promo. So yeah, that's a dub.
Yeah, again, your memory much better than mine. All right, it is time, I believe, SP3, if you are ready. You know, we started the show letting someone into Club Superstar, that someone being the reigning NBA MVP. Now, in the club is the C-suite.
We got the C-suite. It's Thursday in the C-suite. Yeah, it's Thursday. We all about the C-suite. It's Thursday.
I like that you're gonna try. You're gonna try to get over like some type of theme song. Can someone create a theme song for SP3? Where's Metro Boomin? He wants to do WWE.
Metro, you want to make WWE themes? I'm talking about WWE C level shows. You can make us a theme song. It could be your sample. It could be your tryout theme, Metro.
Someone should make SP3. Someone musically talented, not me. I got no musical talent. Someone should make the C-suite theme to the CEO. How'd that go?
C sweet O, sweet
C
sweet
sweet
O,
O.
C sweet O, C sweet O, C sweet O, C sweet O.
I don't think we could get that sample cleared. I feel like we get demonetized for using
Probably,
that sample.
probably,
That's
probably. You're
good
probably
though.
right.
That's good. Someone SP3 gave you the drop right there. So just put some music backing behind that and create it. Someone out there is talented enough to do that. I hope someone does. Get on it, people. Get on it.
Come on, help a brother out. Help us
Yeah.
out. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about C-level shows. Big night for WWE Evolve last night. The biggest episode so far of the Evolve revival, as we determine the first ever inaugural WWE Evolve Women's Champion Callie Armstrong versus Kendall Gray, the best spear in the game, Kendall Gray, as well as Kylie Ray and Wendy Chu. Wendy Chu was the first woman out. She got dropped by everybody hitting their finisher on her, and then Kylie Ray got some revenge on Wendy Chu by eliminating her. Then Kylie Ray pulled out the upset and pinned Kendall Gray. My pick, oh damn it, my pick was eliminated second after she hit the best spear in the game. She hit her finisher on Callie Armstrong, and then Kylie Ray stole the victory from her. Came down to Callie versus Kylie. Say that 10 times fast. But in the end, it was the Callie connection. Callie Armstrong, aka Jazz Belair, aka Bianca Jazz, getting the win here, picking up the victory to become the inaugural WWE Evolve Women's Champion. Congratulations to Callie Armstrong. She's been an absolute beast on Evolve. I love her promo style. She sounds like a lot of the girls I grew up with. It sounds like my sisters cutting promos sometimes, like Callie Armstrong. So I appreciate Callie Armstrong for keeping it so real. She's very deserving. She's been undefeated in singles competition. She's got the athletic background. She talked about she's set world records out here in these streets, and she set another record by becoming the first ever Evolve Women's Champion. And actually, it was presented the title by the low-key legend herself, Natalya. So that looks like we might be getting a big matchup for the Evolve Women's Champion of the low-key legend Natalya versus Callie Armstrong. Callie Armstrong about to get a big legend's head on her mount so she could show it off and she could show that she beat the low-key legend. Good stuff. Good matchup. I thought here. And we also got the last qualifier for the men's Evolve Championship with Jackson Drake picking up a victory over Jordan Oasis and Lindsay Dorado to qualify for the men's Evolve Championship 4-way next week. It will be Super Sean Legacy, the EOE, the epitome of excellence, Idris Anofe, and Keanu Carver versus Jackson Drake in the 4-way to determine the inaugural men's Evolve champion. You also had my favorite faction, your favorite faction, everyone's favorite faction and fraction. The Vanity Project, they were in action as well, picking up they were in the corner of Jackson Drake, so they weren't really in action themselves. So Jackson Drake, he's going to win. He's going to be the first ever Evolve champion. That's my prediction. I'm probably wrong. I'm most likely wrong, but I got to go with my Vanity Project. They cut a promo as well, hyping up the men's Evolve championship matchup later in the show with everybody coming out. And then the last matchup was TNT. Tyreek and what's the other guy's name? Something with a T. Tyreek and Tyson and Tyreek. I was like, it's like I always forget that. High Rise. I call them by their official stable name, High Rise. They were not calling them High Rise because this was filmed months ago, so they didn't know they were going to be High Rise. High Rise picking up the win over Cartwheels and Coffee. Yes, Jack Cartwheel and Cappuccino Jones. Yes, I'm naming them Coffee and Cartwheels or Cartwheels and Coffee. So yeah, they picked up the win, TNT, with the help of Wesley in their corner. Yes, Wesley's on Evolve. I suspect they're going to do Wesley versus Super Sean Legacy because I think in actuality, I have to go with Vanity Project, but in actuality, I think Shawn Legacy is going to be the first Evolve champion, but that'll probably lead to Legacy versus Lee. But that was Evolve last night. Good show.
Or
as good as it's going to be.
Kendall Gray did not win the title. I was sad for you that Kendall Gray did not win the title, and they went with Callie Armstrong.
It was heartbreaking, man. I don't know how I was ever able to survive that, man. My heart broke into a million pieces. Tear my life into pieces. It was my last resort.
I'm sorry that happened.
I'm a little bit upset. I'm a little bit taken aback. I think I'm gonna need a couple of days. I'll take the whole weekend off from In the Weeds, and
I know Joel might be messaging tonight and be like, TNA, I already reviewed that. I don't really feel like talking more TNA. Can you do the show tomorrow, SP3? So
no, he's probably gonna ask me to fill in for him for TNA tonight. Gonna make me stay up to watch TNA.
Tomorrow though, SP3. You know who our guest is tomorrow. So like it's
I wouldn't mind coming on tomorrow's show.
I promised he would be back, folks. I promised, I don't know, earlier this week, late last week maybe. Promised I'd get him back so I could tell him all my great ideas for Ring of Hallucinations, and we're just going to talk about, nothing, as we always do with this man. But tomorrow at 11:30, he shall be back. The legend Paul London returns to In the Weeds tomorrow. So what will we talk about with Paul? Absolutely nothing. As always, absolutely nothing with Paul London. But we will get a lot accomplished as we talk about nothing.
It's gonna be a great time. It's gonna be. I might do a run in as I'm on break at Wrestle Talk. On my break, I'm gonna come and just jump on the show. What time is he supposed to be on tomorrow?
11:30, dude. So
damn, okay. Well, that's towards the end of my shift, so I might try to finish work early and just jump on.
I mean, Paul stays as long as he wants. On top of he shows up at 11:30, but he's gonna be on West Coast time. It'll be 8:30 for him tomorrow. Paul doesn't sleep. It's gonna be, as it always is with Paul London, an absolute adventure. So gonna be very fun, as always with Paul London. We're just gonna talk about all these ideas, all these dumb ideas that Paul and I could possibly have. Paul's gonna be, I know I made you my Bryan Danielson, but he's a former wrestler. So Paul might be my Bryan Danielson. You could be who else is on but you could be the Will Washington on the creative side for Ring of Hallucinations.
This is not the first time I've been compared to Will Washington, Charlie Murphy.
So Paul London tomorrow at 11:30, folks. Anything else we need to discuss, SP3?
I was trying to remember that, and I was like, let me look on like social media if I forgot anything. We talked about New Japan with Best of Super Juniors. We even got to mention Walker Stewart getting that promotion with Stardom. Trying to think, did I watch anything else? Oh, I did watch some of the Marigold show. Really like the Otami Hayashita versus Mirai matchup. I still need to watch the Nene Takahashi retirement matchup. So we got something to talk about Tuesday, because I'm sure Raw will give us nothing to talk about. So I'll talk about that on Tuesday, next Tuesday.
All right.
Or tomorrow, because we know Joel.
That's true. That's very true. Folks, I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe Joel will be here. Maybe not. Who can tell with 2-show Joel? Might be 1-show Joel this week. We shall see. SP3, let everybody know where they can find you at in the meantime.
Find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I will be live in about an hour with Jimmy Macaram reviewing last night's AEW Dynamite, which I'm sure he hated. He did message me when he was watching it at like 4 a.m. his time, and he was just criticizing my opinion on everything. I messaged him, it's like I'm live tweeting him while he's not watching it, and he doesn't see it until he starts watching, and then he just replies to everything where I'm saying, oh, this was a great matchup. Not a main event is his response. And then I'm like, this was a fun trios match. He's like, too long. The only thing he agreed with was my opinion on the opening segment. So that's a spoiler for those who didn't want to watch AE Ramble. But come watch it. We always have fun, and we always get you involved in the live chat. I always love to hear your opinions, especially when you disagree with Jimmy. I always love those. I always highlight those. Thank you. Join us 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time. AE Ramble should be a fun one.
There you go. Again, folks, we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. I'll be back later this evening with Steven Jensen on the Spotlight. We'll talk about Jensen's birthday week and how much money he spent gambling on, I don't know, other people playing video games or watching people gamble. I have no idea the stuff Jensen gambles on because he gambles on like everything, though. He's gambling on pit stops in F1 races. Like what are we doing out here? What are we doing? So Jensen and I will be back at 6:30 this evening. Connor Casey is scheduled to join us. The great Connor Casey. Yeah.
Haven't seen him since our days on Pillar to Post.
And Connor's involved in like the business now, you know. He used to like cover it. Now he's like a manager and he's working on his own promotion. Maybe Connor will give me the pencil for his promotion. I'll pitch him. Ideas.
I'm gonna pitch an idea for In the Weeds. You need to do like once a month In the Weeds, Pillar to Post. Pillar to Post was good times, and since Around the Horn is not around anymore, we need to fill that void for professional wrestling.
I'll take it under consideration. Now that like we have a set time with everything, it's easy to maybe get people on the show. I'll take it under consideration. We'll see.
And then I can have my kids like write messages like Woody Page. I could be actually Black Woody Page, what I was always saying I was. So.
Yeah, I respect it. All right, folks. We'll be back tomorrow. Jensen's gambling on whether or not Joel's going to be on the show tomorrow. I got the line. It's close. I'll say you're going to be here, Joel. We're going to go minus 200 that Joel is on the show. So we'll go plus 300 that Joel won't be on the show. There's good odds there. There's good odds on Joel not being on the show. You can make some money. There. All right, folks. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back. SP3 might be back. Paul London should be here. Always a fun time. Until then, folks, everybody, appreciate all the love, all the support. Thunder up. Talk to you tomorrow.